You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 10th of March 2024.
Okay, anyway, whatever. There's not been. Look, just we're done. I think that's it. I think that's enough.
Anything to plug?
Hey, do you have anything to plug?
I should have done it in the
it's
the
crazy
free one.
to do it now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just edit it and put it at the start.
That's
we
a
can
good
do
one.
introductions now, in fact.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I have loads of stuff to plug.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram
Yeah.
at Roger Comedy.
Yeah.
Post stuff regularly. I'm very good. I have a show in Cork in June.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, on the 20...
Just on the 18th.
what was
Don't
that?
say the 18th. Don't say the 18th.
No, is that when you're doing it? 27th.
Hey, we don't know.
27th.
Okay, cool.
And you can listen to my podcast is on hiatus at the minute, but you can still listen to it. Unexplained Legends. It's like a ghosts and conspiracy podcast that I co-host with another comedian, Dennis Lennon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Have you seen Gigantor?
Yeah,
Gigantor.
Yeah.
you should know this. You work
The
in
villain.
animation, Carl.
Yeah. It was actually really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Not to gang up on you, but
Seminal Japanese cartoon, Gigantor.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know that at all.
and
no.
then they made the New Adventures of Gigantor.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they remade him.
Yes, yeah.
This is like the New Adventures of Gigantor.
The New
Yeah.
Adventures of Celtic Ligers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Doug, except brand spanking new. The one that was on the
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
Channel,
Oh, yeah.
which wasn't as good.
I didn't like that.
No, neither did I.
It rounded off all the edges.
Yeah, and they also introduced like fantasy elements. Remember the movie had like a swamp monster in it?
I was in favour of that.
Really?
I liked
Interesting.
the idea that a bit of magical realism brought into the world of
I was
folk.
like, no, I want it to be when he's like, he eats a bit too much at his aunt's house and then he's afraid to go to this, they're going to be at a pool party and he's going to be a bit chunky. You remember?
The pool party turned out great. I guess sometimes you just have to get over it and jump in.
That was in the original stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like Doug, like as a person.
Yeah. I think you have to ask questions about somebody who's balding that young.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Like, what's going on in his life? What has he done?
Yeah.
He sort of looked like he had a hair transplant as well. You know when people get the hair,
Yeah.
the new one.
He's back from Turkey.
Yeah.
I always liked his look. I was like, I think his sweater vest, what is it? The sleeveless thing with the
Yeah.
t-shirt underneath and the shorts. I was like, that's what kids dress like in America, and I want to dress like an American. That's what I used to be like. Same with Arnold from Hey Arnold.
My
Yeah,
parents
Arnold.
had me plagued to dress. Anytime they wanted me to wear something or get a haircut, they'd be like, "It's like what they're wearing in America." They had me plagued.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
What kind of stuff were they getting you to dress in?
I'm trying to think. I think I used to just wear tracksuit bottoms.
Just a little baby
Yeah,
onesie.
same.
What?
He's like, but Mom, I'm 12. You're the baby. You wear the onesie. You're a baby.
Nothing all that unusual. Jumpers and stuff, you know?
They just knew that you were going to be resistant to any change in style.
Yeah.
See, I picture you being like above bullshit as a child, James.
Really?
Yeah. I
Well-
picture you coming out like first thing, come out of your mother and go, I won't scream. It's beneath me. You can slap my body all day long,
Yeah.
but you're not getting
In
anything
fact,
from me.
I like it. That's what.
It's mad how they hit the baby, isn't it?
Yeah. I think a lot of doctors that go into obstetrics is just because they want to slap babies.
Yeah.
Speaking of babies, how did you vote in the referendum?
I came back just to vote in the gay abortion referendum.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
was
very
no each time.
Yeah.
For gays and for abortion.
I asked
And-
my brother. I asked my brother in the morning what the results were, and he said 0-0. He genuinely said that.
0-0.
Yeah, like it was a sports result.
It was quite a shocking result, actually, even by like what I thought it was going to be. I thought that the no's would have it, but it's 67% no.
Really?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I realise why I don't make predictions anymore. I just never. I thought I'd pass.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been so shit at predictions.
I thought it would be a yes, no. I thought.
I sort of thought that too.
Yeah.
I don't know what
thought it would be because I was like, I see the no people are like the
no people. Unfortunately, are all insane.
they're like
All the visible
Yeah.
ones are just like the most crazy, racist, misogynistic people.
Yeah.
but they're incredibly passionate and they were like,
convincing.
and you knew that they were going to be like out in force. And then I thought like, yeah, there's going to be like the yes no, which you know is kind of a bit complicated for people. You know,
Well,
like,
the whole thing was so complicated and vague.
yeah.
But like when you saw the no poster, like the yes posters, it's just like yes, vote
Yeah.
yes. And the no ones are like it's like paragraphs of
Yeah.
text.
Yeah.
And like a woman in a sink.
And
like
it's
a
in the
chain.
shape of the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
They posted text in the shape of the Virgin Mary.
Like we saw one that was like about the size of an A4 sheet of paper.
Yeah.
It was like on a lamppost. And there was like 2 paragraphs of text on it.
I think we were spoiled by the other 2 referendums.
Yeah.
I think that Fine Gael were like, we'll get another one in
Yeah.
before we get kicked out.
I think Fine Gael just believed that if you asked people, they'll just vote yes by default.
Yeah.
I thought that they were just like, yeah, why not? You know.
Yeah, sure, we'll get another one.
Yeah.
I used to like I'm not sure. I think I think I
do you
said this
think?
before, but I think it's like that at this stage everybody's just sort of checked out. It's like the Tories over in the UK, and everybody is just saying something different. So this one was almost like, what was it? A camel is a horse designed by a committee, you know, where somebody's like, let's get an easy win. Yeah, cool. And then also let's add in a bit where, you know, we strip the rights
That
of
was
people
it.
who
It's like they presented it like it's just about getting archaic language out of the Constitution, and then someone's like, "Well, what if we like took away some responsibilities
Yeah.
of the state?" You know?
What if we laundered in this little bit about how we don't have to do anything?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then,
would be
like,
good.
and then Varadkar was saying like awful shit all the time.
Yeah. What show was he on?
He was on the
Oh.
6 o'clock show, which I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
I can't believe you've never heard of that.
Really?
Yeah, you've never heard of the 6 o'clock show.
Is it a big one?
It's like I think if people were trying to sell tickets over here and they'd be a bit short,
Oh, really?
people would go get them on the 6 o'clock show and you'll get the worst audience.
Yeah.
Who hosts it?
Couldn't
That
tell
guy
you
with poor bad fillers who looks like another guy in England who's got even worse fillers.
What's fillers?
You know, the
Oh,
lip
in the
fillers.
face. I'd love to get fillers.
that would
It's
be
a great-
amazing.
Like a chin, like just keeps going. Like
I'd
Jane
love
Adams.
everyone to be like, have you seen James recently? No, he's gone off the deep end.
Yeah.
he's gone fillers, double D's.
Yeah.
Well, the other one
Yes.
is veneers. You know, people who get veneers.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen how they do that?
Or they like file them down to little nubs, don't
Yeah, and then have you seen this?
No.
Are you squeamish for this?
Which teeth?
Yeah.
I'm not great with it, but I'll handle it. I'll
It's like-
persevere.
They file your teeth down to the nub,
Uh-huh.
so they're tiny.
Yeah.
They look like, you know, the crocodile guy in
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
And then they like put fake teeth over them, but the fake teeth are like, what are they made out of? Porcelain.
Must be something like that.
So they all look like Elaine from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
They've
they're-
just massive white teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, I know about this. It's just veneers, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's what we're.
Yeah.
Literally, James said.
Is that what he said?
Do you know how
Sorry.
they do veneers? And
Well, I
go,
thought you said
"No."
something else because, like, I just presume when, like, they file your teeth down to a nub, and I thought he's going to be talking about some weird subculture that he saw on TikTok. So, like,
yeah, that's a
when I
fair
missed the
assumption.
veneers bit, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, so I just imagine like a Chet Hanks type person with like, I got some nubs for teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You curate amazing things off TikTok.
You think?
Yeah, because like that, I can totally picture where you're coming from now, Gareth. You've been James pilled of
Yeah.
and they fall them down and they put them in their foreskin and like that's
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
expecting.
I did see a video of a guy pulling out his own tooth with like a pliers.
Yeah,
It's what I saw. You know the way people watch like pimple popping videos.
Oh yeah.
For some reason I thought it would be like satisfying. Yeah, I don't like those videos, but it's just really sore looking. Like he just pulls it and then he goes like, and you can just like feel the pain.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not the same, but one time I saw like my cat with a mouse, you know?
Yeah.
And you have this kind of abstract, oh, the cat killed a bird, or the cat did this. Not the cat in this house, this is in like where I live in Galway.
Yeah, I'm not sure Olive could.
I don't think she'd barely able to catch like a butterfly, you know, it's crazy. But anyway, so I was watching the cat and I was like, oh, it's got a mouse there, and it's like playing with it. And then it like, I heard the sound of it cracking the mouse's skull with its teeth. But I was like, why did I expect that? Like, I was looking at this thinking like, it was like, because when you watch like nature shows and stuff, they have that type of stuff, but then they kind of cut away.
Yeah.
Where you don't hear the sounds or the kind of look of it. And it's like, that's really horrible and unpleasant, actually.
I saw a video and it was this crocodile and he goes after this baby hippo. He like takes a lump out of it. And then like all the hippos just circle the crocodile in the water and they just like stamp the shit out of it. But like the crocodile's like, whatever its expression is, it's like a cartoon. Because it doesn't look sad. It just looks like a crocodile. It's just getting thrown about the place, like stomped, and like its back is broken. But it's like, sort of looks like it's smiling nearly. But it was like 30 hippos.
Yeah.
Just
Isn't
going
it
at it.
mental the way that you deep down inside you have biases towards certain animals?
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, hippos, they're pro-human or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm very pro-hippo in this situation.
No, I saw the hippos like because I saw this thing it was a documentary talking about hippos, and then they just go, they are the fucking biggest pricks, you know, and like they like.
And the other issue with them is that when you throw the watermelon in the mouth, very little of it goes into the mouth.
Yeah. And they just smash it.
They just smash it.
They just
Very
enjoy
wasteful.
that.
Yeah, they're very wasteful animals.
But you know, like apparently they can like when they're in water, they can run like they basically run on the bottom of the lake, and they can run really quickly, and then they get like short bursts of speed on land. So like when they come at you, like. You know, Disney and all that stuff has a lot to answer for. Where you think, oh, the hippos are kind of these passive, big creatures, and it's like this guy was like, yeah, no, this hippo like bit through my arm, you know, because because it's like they're obviously their jaws are like massive pressure, but also like they're incredibly hostile creatures. Like
you were there thinking, I thought they were ballerinas.
Yes,
this is gross.
Trying to think, I said Disney, and I was like, actually, has there been any famous hippos in Disney? Was it in Fantasia?
Fantasia, I think, yeah.
So you voted no.
I voted no. I voted yes.
Did you?
I did, but I
Unbelievable.
But I did think that
like Paul Murphy.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that actually, but like Paul Murphy was like advocating because there's been some very funny fallout to me.
Yeah, people have gone way too aggro about the whole thing.
They were going like, so Paul Murphy was like, well, that was the shit referendum and blah, blah, blah. And then some people are going like, Paul Murphy, you son of a bitch, you were advocating for a yes. And they were really like, you know, disabled people, you put your fucking foot in your fucking neck.
Because it came out like some disability rights activists said we should vote no for the care amendment.
Okay.
Right?
That's the second one, was it?
The second one.
Okay.
And because it's to do with like the wording of basically they got rid of the state shall like economically provide for people who provide care.
It was strive to do that,
but
as
then they
opposed
replaced it with strive too. And then disability rights groups were like, this could be interpreted in a way that affects us. But like, no one said how. It's just like people are theorizing about it. But then now it's kind of this weird thing where like Paul Murphy voted yes, and then people are like, you want to kill disabled people.
Well, like I think actually he changed his vote to like, because like Ruth Coppinger as well.
Change your vote.
Huh?
You can't change your
No,
vote.
what I mean is like he was advocating for a yes, and then
he went back in.
Yeah. Actually, where is it? Just rummaging around.
I'll find it. It's fine.
But like, no, apparently, like with Ruth Coppinger, she was going, yes, remove the archaic language. And then after a while, they were like, disability activists have spoken to me, and I've decided it happened with Mick Barry and it happened with Ruth Coppinger, and I'm not sure whether it happened with Paul Murphy, because honestly didn't really see him talking about it that much on Twitter or social media. And I think a lot of people were just trying to avoid it and I kind of think correctly so, because it is just a big nothing. I was about to say nothing burger, but I really don't want to say that. But it is like, it's just nothing, do you know?
The nothing burger.
It's a fucking nothing burger. Okay, and I'm tired of pretending it's not.
It's not like one of these Supermax burgers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And now, just to bringing the show to you today is by Supermax.
So you voted yes.
No, I didn't.
What did you vote?
I actually voted no, because I was going to vote yes, no. Because I said this, I said I'm thinking of voting no in the last episode. And then I was like, actually, I'm probably going to vote yes, no, because that would be more like if I'm just thinking like, well, what is the government going to look at with my vote? Like the ideal result, a yes, no would be saying more than a no. But then I got up there and I was reading the thing, and I thought that they would have literally written out the exact.
They don't. Why didn't they?
Yeah,
I know.
You get in there and you're like, have they given me two of the same?
Yeah. So I was like, because they were like, vote yes on green and no on pink or something, and then I got it. And
They
it was
didn't
green.
say that to you.
No. Sorry, like in not in the.
Vote yes on this one. Vote no on this one.
Yeah, that's what they said at the centre.
No. Like when I was on Twitter, like that was people were trying to get that into your head. Vote yes on this and no on this, and then but I forgot the colors when I was there. So I was looking at it and I was like, it's okay, I'll just read it and I'll see which one was which. And then I was like, they were like, do you want to replace Article 2 point blah 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 with 3 point with the amendment such and such that got sent out to your house? And I was like, and then I was like, well, I don't know which is which, so I'm just going to vote no on both.
Okay. Gareth started Googling it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to Google it. I didn't know if you could do that in the polling station.
I think you get in trouble. I think,
yeah.
You're not allowed to take a picture.
No, they actually take the phone and put it in the box.
Yeah.
With the vote. I was going to vote yes, no.
I voted yes, no, by the way. Thanks for asking.
We all knew that. Like, there was no question about that. I was going to vote yes, no. And then at the last minute, for some reason, something came over me and I thought, I'll vote yes. And then next day I thought, shouldn't have even bothered.
Yeah, like
what a waste of an evening.
And then the worst part about it as well is that, like, because I knew this would happen and it was very aggravating, which is just like, all right, we're gonna have both sides of the debate on, so we're gonna have yes and no. And I was like, are you gonna have yes, no? But then he would like, so they have the yes, which is like, I'm Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, we're in the government and we have to vote for this. And then no, which is like Michael McDowell going like, they're saying a woman isn't even a woman anymore and they don't even know. And then like no wins and they're like interviewing Michael McDowell. Well, that was quite a win for you. Yeah, the people of Ireland have spoken and they think whatever weird bullshit I said, that was what they think. And I'm like, no.
They were thinking of changing
Ligers said
that the state was going to make trans women go in the home. They were thinking of changing to that as well.
Yeah. Assign a trans woman to every home in Ireland. It was like their campaign was the usual shit, which makes absolutely no sense.
Which side?
The no, like as in the Christian right, like their version of it. Whereas like, but now their votes are getting mixed in with. I can guarantee, like, I am not the only person who went in and was like, I want to vote yes, no, but I don't know, so I'm just gonna put in no to be safe, you know.
Life is unfair.
Because I didn't like.
That's such a funny instinct. I understand it, but it's such a funny instinct of like, I don't know which way to vote, so I better just vote not the way I was going to vote.
I know. It's just but all I was doing it, I felt like shit and I felt really angry and I was like, I can't believe that I'm like, you know, when they open up like the ballot boxes and they find, there's a bunch of Padre Pio medals in here, and I was like, which goes to show the kind of caliber of people voting in this, and it's just like, this fucking sucks. I hate being part of you guys and not the other guys.
There's a bat.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, somebody put a bat in there.
Yeah.
What? Why? What was the point?
No, there was a live bat found in a counting station.
Yeah.
Really?
In the box.
In the box.
Yeah.
Surely that's like vote tampering or something. Like he has to be held to
Chinese
account.
interference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some conspiracy guy who like that made his day.
Yeah,
He was just
I knew it.
I knew it.
Oh, but that was the thing that happened. Like, so there was no immediate exit poll, and according to Gavin Riley, the reason is because nobody cared and it's too
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
But all of these people online were like, "What the fuck? They're going to steal it. They're going to go yes, yes. I can't believe they're going to do this," and they were freaking out. And so, one of my favorite accounts on Twitter, the man in the black pajamas, like, "No, there is an exit poll," and he just made up an exit poll that had yes winning, and all these people were like, "I knew it, they're stealing it from us," and just freaking out. Like,
I've never heard of that guy on Twitter. I'm not really on Twitter that much anymore. Is he like is he legitimately a funny guy, or is he? Like,
oh no, I love him. Yeah, he's very funny. He wrote an article for
Like
Head
a
Stuff.
far-right
Blue Hiss.
sort of,
No, it's not. He like, I don't know why, but like he wrote in a very funny article about Dave McWilliams years ago, just talking about like how often his columns will repeat verbatim passages from his books and stuff like this, and like he's just one of those. Like they have more of them in the UK than they do in Ireland, but we love them all the more dearly for it.
Yeah.
The irony poisons leftist voices.
Yeah.
You know, people who are just like Subprime is another one that I follow as well. Like people who are like, Senator Jerry Crowell shows up at the counting centre with his arm around Michael McDowell and is like, "Great day for the Irish," and they're just like retweeting all of his stuff. Or like, they love that guy Donald Jackson as well. Do you know him?
No,
He's like a business therapist. He ran for like his own weird independent party at one point.
I think something that I think I didn't give enough credit for when I lived in Ireland compared to the UK is that like there's such a political class in the UK.
A what?
There's such a political class that like everyone who's running for some kind of MP or whatever, like if you look into their history is just that they've always been an MP, or like they've just done the same thing. Whereas in Ireland, one thing I do appreciate is that some guy could be like the local hay salesman.
Yeah.
And then he just off of a good yield has like somehow flown into office.
Yeah. Well, no, this guy didn't get into office, but they've become obsessed with him because like the tweets and stuff he puts out there and the kind of business advice and his like James said in the past that we'd look back on economists like they were druids looking at like sheep interests.
Yeah.
Well, this guy like present day treats economics like they are like magic, okay? And he'll be talking about it like if we just had like the right sort of magic is based. I'm trying to find like a good tweet that he put out recently, but he's also one of those people who believes that like the current government are like socialist or communist.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I can't say this guy's name, but I have a friend who used to work for like the like Economic Something Institute of Ireland. And years ago, they were asked to do an internal report on like what would help alleviate housing shortages. This is like 10 years ago, and they literally just said, "Oh, like build social housing, and you can control the market with that."
Yeah.
And then they just went, "Okay, well, we're just going to do our own thing anyway."
Really?
Like, yeah. But I'm listening to an audiobook called The Trading Game. It's this guy Gary Stevenson.
Oh yeah.
Who's he?
He's he's kind of.
Oh, is he the guy who used to be an investment banker?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like nominal left-wing pundit now.
Investment.
But his book is really good. But he talks about that thing of like everyone else around him has an economics background like himself.
Yeah.
But everyone else just believes it so much more.
Because the thing with economics is that you can have two leading economists who say completely different things.
Yeah.
Like completely opposing things.
Yeah.
And they both get the Nobel Prize. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other field in the world that's like that. It's like, imagine if it's one for biology. For a Nobel Prize for biology.
Yeah.
What have they done?
Well, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Say. And one guy discovered DNA, and then another guy was like, no, we
need to buy less.
What?
We need to buy less. That's like the economics one. It's like
I feel like if someone was like, gravity's real, and then someone was like, gravity's not real.
Yeah.
They both won the prize. You know?
Or like, I don't know, like But David McWilliams, for example, as like an economist that people like follow or are interested in for some, like one of the most popular podcasts in Ireland, God knows how, but he'll like say, you're talking about two different people saying two different things and being rewarded. He'll say the complete opposite stuff consistently.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, wow, what valuable insight. But also like the way he treats it is so glib as well.
Yeah.
He's very like, I just remember I think,
lib.
huh?
So lib.
So freaking lib. Here's Donald Jackson though. It's worth remarking when people get stuff that they think is free because they don't actually pay for it. The poorest actually pay, and most severely. Try and remember this when the provisional Sinn Féin Hamas party are next making their false promises.
I'll be back to vote
Will
for
do.
that.
Yeah.
That's some coalition.
When I hear young people looking for that which they have not earned themselves, I blame their fathers and mothers as they reared them to this religious type beliefs, type of entitlement. That I'm not messing up. That's just how
Yeah.
it
I think
is.
it's a good point there.
Yeah.
Do you expect free stuff, Roger?
I'd love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I expect it.
You mentioned you live in London.
Yeah.
Gareth, ask him a question about London.
The NHS, what do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Is it good?
Yeah.
Still they hanging in there?
I'm telling everyone, anytime people constantly complain about the NHS over in the UK, and they're like, "Oh, it's such a pile of bollocks," you know, like, "Oh, it's you spend so long, like waiting for everything."
Yeah,
And
how long would you wait in A&E?
The exact same as you would here, except you have to fucking pay at the end.
Okay.
Like, and I just say this to lads, and they're just like, "No, he's made that up." And I was like, "No, like lived there pretty much my entire life. Like you." My appendix burst when I was younger, and that we were just in A&E for like 8 hours waiting, and like you just tell them that, and you're like, and then you have to pay at the end, and they're just like, he's made that up, you know, that's a lie.
You see that there was a video at the time where like it was crazy because like Jeremy Corbyn had some document in late 2019 where he's like, look, I found a document where the Tories are saying they're going to privatize the NHS and sell it off to the Americans. And then they're like, yeah, he got it from a Russian. He's a fucking Russian.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, okay, well that's, and then consistently then, like, obviously he's just been proven right on those issues. Yeah. But like, around that time, it prompted a video, I think, from Joe Politics Joe or some shit, where they went around and they asked people,
like Joe, the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they went like, they were asking people in like Brixton or something, like, how much do you think this costs in America? You know, and it'd be like, how much do you think it costs to give birth? And they'd be like, I don't know, $50 or something. Yeah. And they were like, how would you react if I said like 10,000? It was like, the numbers are just so like, there's no comparison.
10 grand for a baby.
It's the same with renting as well, because I remember telling my uncle how much they were like, rents are so high over here, and then when you heard it would be like, well, I could afford that and I'd be getting like a lot more for the money as well, as opposed to
in America.
No, in fucking UK.
Right.
Oh yeah, like the rent in the UK is crazy. Yeah,
it's not good, but it's but
when I hear people talking about like what they're paying here, I'm like, oh, you know, at least I'm in the center, or like at least I'm you know, at the heart of London or whatever, or like within access of it. And it's like, you're paying that much to live in Coachford. Exactly. Like, you know, what's going on?
Yeah, I know, to be like, you know, out in like Foxford and Mayo, it's like, yeah, the average rent out here for like a 1-bed apartment, if you could get it, you know, I mean, I chose the wrong place, Foxford, but anyway, it'd be like, yeah, that'd be $1,000 a month. It was like, $1,000 a month to live there.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, and then also it's like, yeah, also you have no windows and there's mold everywhere.
Yes, and you have to own a car.
Yeah.
If you don't, you'll be dead.
And your landlord will still hate you for giving them a bunch of money for this.
The mold is the killer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind living somewhere shit. It's just the mold.
Yeah.
It's just like you're getting poisoned.
Yeah.
For like $1,000 a month.
It's literally like, in my flat that I'm moving out of in London very soon, there's literally just piss coming out the wall.
What?
Like, the pipe up above is broken.
And
literally sometimes piss just comes out of the wall. and I'm like telling them, there's piss coming out of your wall. Like, and then I'm like, I'm leaving, So it doesn't affect me that much. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I'd rather there wasn't piss coming on my wall.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling them, like, there's piss everywhere. Like, you know, like, this is going to keep happening when I leave. And they're just like, oh, yeah, somebobody's on that. It's like, they're not.
No.
They're not on this. Like,
we are going back to tenements.
yeah.
Like, well, do you remember? Well, there's two things. One is that when I was in Kilkenny, I went to view this place, and I was told, like, oh, when you finish up with a house viewing, you should have a question. Do you know?
Yeah.
So I just was like, I
What's
don't know.
the piss situation?
No, what's the piss situation like here? Where can I? Two questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
One,
much?
where is the piss? And two, how can I get? But like, no, I asked her like, so much of a mold problem here, and then she goes, I defy you to find a house in Kilkenny that doesn't have mold.
Oh.
Imagine it.
That's so good.
But it was,
She was like,
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
know. It's normal.
Sorry, have you heard the phrase "beggars can't be choosers"?
yeah. No, oh, well, like when we came to view this place, about 60 people showed up, okay? And then there was a guy ahead of us, and he'd lived in Berlin. And now he was here, and he was like, yeah, there's a housing crisis in Berlin as well. Like, buddy. Like, you know. So,
Join
like,
the queue. Literally.
but he just goes like, he's up ahead of us. And so he goes, yeah, I've signed on to an internet contract with Air, so can I move that here? And she goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, really, like this is the estate agent, and she's on her phone while he's asking these questions. And then he's like, is there a place to park my car? No. And she goes, can I put my bike anywhere? I don't know. And then he's like,
you're asking a lot of questions.
and
Yeah.
he goes like, what about there? And she's like, I mean, if you wanted to get stolen.
But
And she was like that. And then I just had to come up after, like, hey, how's it
Yeah.
going? Nice to meet you. And then we ended up getting the place because I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much.
did she?
just
Oh, go on. Sorry,
hate
James.
you.
Oh yeah.
Like Lana's they resent you.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. On the questions thing, when I was moving into my flat, I moved there a year ago, and I was being kicked out of the other place short notice because they were selling it. So I just booked in so many viewings.
How much notice did they give you?
They gave the valid notice, but
Yeah.
but the problem is that the whole time they'd just been telling us that we were going to just roll over the
No way.
yeah, and then they were like, oh, actually, we decided we were going to sell it. So you're
oh.
fucked because you were not even looking for places.
Yeah.
But the thing that happened is, like, I booked in so many in a row that like the last few I had, even though I had already put down a deposit on a place, I was like, well, things are so crazy here. Like, I knew people that were getting their deposits sent back to them and told them, like, oh, actually somebody else is coming in and stuff like that. So I was like, I might as well view these places. And one of the last places I viewed, I'd been to so many of these things that I'd learned all the questions to ask.
Yeah.
And I was asking them because nobody else was asking the questions. It was four of us, four different groups were there at once. And the estate agent was so mad that I knew the questions to ask.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what's the council tax band? And the guy's like, sweating as he's like, I think it's a B. And I was like, I was just being a little shit for the sake of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's illegal to misquote that or whatever. And he's like,
Really?
let me check. like a little goblin man. Which I don't even think it is, but I just wanted to be a dickhead.
That's yeah. And so this is in London as well.
Yeah,
'Cause I
yeah.
heard in London as well that there people have to put like deposits down on viewings in some cases as well.
That can't be true.
What they'll do is I don't know if it's quite that bad, but what it will be is, like, they'll ask you on the day of like once you viewed a place, they're like, do you want to put a deposit down, like there and then?
Yeah.
You know? So like they will pressure you into like making a decision. But at one of the viewings I was at, there was an American woman there, and she was saying, this is actually pure, like, this is peak American brain. Like, you know, Americans will just tell you something's worse and go, that's so much better, right? And she was saying, like, I used to live in New York, and like, it was so much easier because you just view a place and you have the deposit in cash, and the minute you handed them the deposit in cash, you were guaranteed the place. It's like, that's hell.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally
Yeah.
talking about like walking around with like $1,000 in a brown paper bag. Like, that's fucking and going. And as soon as I handed it to this guy, you know.
Yeah. But also, like, there's these scams that are happening as well, where like somebody will Airbnb a place, put it up, and then you show up, and if you're to hand over the deposit, like, come in one time. Somebody else is living there.
Oh
you know?
yeah, that happened to a friend of mine.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was a few years ago. Like,
Yeah.
it was before I moved to London, but that exact thing happened. And again, it was just like wide-eyed, you know, like.
Yeah.
And the guy, he was saying, "Oh, is all this stuff in the place?" He's like, "Yeah, it's furnished. It comes furnished." But like, then he turned up later, and like a guy's just like, he's trying to get the key to work and it's not working.
Yeah.
And then he's like knocking on the door and some other guy just came down and goes, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah.
He's like, "This is my house." No, it's not. It's fucking my house.
Gareth was telling me you listened to a podcast as economists.
Yeah, I was going to mention that earlier because you were talking about like just this weird.
Like it's just a different planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like it was called Multipolarity, and it has.
It's Irish,
No, it's not Irish. It's British.
Greek.
But it's fucking. There's a guy. His name is like Pilkington, but he's from Dublin.
Oh.
But anyway,
Basically
he's
British.
and now he's
Yeah.
he's
a West
British.
He introduces himself as a West
Well,
British.
he genuinely is like because because I heard him on Navarra and he was talking to Aaron Bastani, and I thought it was kind of interesting because they were talking about like the podcast is Multipolarity, so they were talking about like the rise of the
Magnets.
BRICS and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, oh, interesting, and then I started like listening to his podcast, and I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of get half of this, and you know, and I was just, anyway, at one point then I was like, this guy has to have talked about the Dublin riots. So I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I went back and listened to it, and then, yeah, of course he fucking did. And his, it was funny because his co-host then, it was very revealing because now that they were talking about something that I actually knew something about, I suddenly realized how like massively right wing his co-host was.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was kind of like, kind of right wing as well, but like where they would start talking about the Dublin riots, and then he would get about like some parts of it right, and then other parts of it just were drastically wrong. So like the first part that he said was like, so his co-host was like, oh, I thought Fintan O'Toole wrote something beautiful about this, and like he's always giving out about British people, which is why I was always hesitant to like read him. I was like, what, Fintan O'Toole?
Yeah.
No, he's not. He wants to be British. What are you talking about? But like then he said that, and then he goes, but he's like, yeah, but he's like a really great writer. And then Pilkington goes like, well, no, he's not actually. And he talks in this weird treacly Yeatsian way that most Irish people find like pretty insufferable, which is why he can only, live outside of Ireland.
But we're talking about the housing bit.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm building up.
Just you're talking
I'm
about the
telling a
riots.
story, okay?
Okay.
But
James
then,
is very sensitive about my time.
yeah.
He's just...
But the we got time.
What?
We got time.
We've got loads of time.
I was just...
I know. This is the way that I speak. Unfortunately,
I know,
okay?
I know.
And this is what our
You've seen
listeners
Maestro.
love.
Have you seen Maestro?
This is what I
Um,
listen to. Day
huh?
in, day out.
Yeah.
This is what I listen to.
But
Have you
the
seen
thing,
Maestro?
I haven't seen it, and
Do
I
you know
will
what
not.
it's about?
It's about Leonard Bernstein, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about a Jewish conductor.
Yeah.
And
And that's what you think you are right now.
yeah.
Is it? Okay. Also gay. Yeah.
Well, I'm not exactly like him.
Okay.
Some ways I'm the opposite.
I'm actually so hetero that. But
That'd
anyhow,
be a good podcast. I'm gay. He's not.
yeah.
We're going to see what our lives are like. Oh.
But yeah, so anyway, the long and short of it, what they thought about the Dublin riots was, that's what happens when a bunch of migrants come in. You're like, oh, okay, now I know what.
Yeah.
But like, then they had another podcast that, but like very foolishly, I like signed up to their Patreon so I could listen to the full fucking Dublin riots one. And then once I was like just head and hands once I was hearing this, I was like, fuck. So then like an episode came up and it was like Pilkington versus the Yimbies, okay?
All right, yeah.
Do you know
So
what
I-
a Yimby is?
Is that like yes in my backyard?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that- yeah.
I hate the NIMBY YIMBY thing because it's so reductive and stupid and it misses on many
Yeah.
different things.
Because it's like, you read, it'd be like, Sinn Féin.
Yeah,
guy.
object to all this housing being built.
Yeah, and then it turns out it's like a 25-story co-living thing.
Yeah, yeah.
On like a tiny lane.
It's the
Yeah.
panopticon. They were
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
trying to build a panopticon.
Yeah. It's a Thunderdome.
Yeah. Well, yes, Minister, but where were you when the Thunderdome was being?
But like, so I was like, whenever I hear anybody So what he was doing on Twitter, I'd seen him on Twitter, like giving out about people who were saying that supply is the main issue.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. Well, now I have an economist who's on my side. He's like, so going to be.
I have my own wizard.
Yeah, like, sending him into battle.
Yeah.
But like so I thought like, well, he's a dumbass who can speak to them on their level. So surely then these people will be like, you know, he'll be saying something that makes sense. And I guess maybe I did get what I want, but it was there on the podcast. I started talking. He's like, now Pilkington has this wild theory that like, just like a lot of you might not agree with or might not understand. But anyway,
this now?
This is the Conservative co-host,
Okay.
Who I can't remember his name. And he's like, so he's talking about housing. And so then they start off and he's like, well, Pilkington goes like, well, obviously he kind of talks like Leo, or he sounds a little like him. And he just goes like, you know, maybe that's unfair. But anyway, he says, well, obviously anybody who's home, there's very few people that are actually homeless, he said. He said mostly everybody has a roof over their head and the people who are homeless are just crazy. And I was like, oh yeah, obviously. All right. And then he launches
a bit of common sense.
The way he said it was like, everyone who's homeless is insane.
Yeah.
And also most homeless people have a roof over their head.
Yeah. And then he starts talking about like he starts talking about like a generational thing, and he seems to be going after like young people for not understanding what you know shit is about. Okay, and then he goes on. He says like okay, so like at one point, you know, people used to buy. I don't know what he was saying. What he used to buy, but anyway, the point is like his big epiphany is. Or at least he says this, and everybody in the comments is like, wow, I didn't think about it that way, is that old people are buying up all the houses along with multinationals, and they're renting them out at like extortionate rates.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it. That was the epiphany.
Wow.
And I was like, that's crazy.
This is Gar talking in the robot voice. Just because I felt a little like I slightly misrepresented the case. The epiphany really amounted to, Yimbys are wrong because all amount of supply will be hoovered up by quote, boomers, unquote, and multinationals. So, still stupid and late in the game.
But you see, the thing is, when you don't have a foot in that world, it takes you 10 years for that to trickle down to you. So, like, if you're not on the coal face of that, that's new. He's probably the only person in his small group of friends who even knows that
I know.
is happening.
But he's like a fucking.
But I guarantee you, he does that. How old is he? What age is he?
Him? No, he's not. He's renting. He said it in the thing.
Yeah.
But like, what I said, you like, that was explicit messaging.
Yeah.
Like it was like, it was not like, oh, this is some phenomenon. It's like 15, 20 years ago, from then on, it was like, buy a house as an investment because that's going to be your pension.
Yeah.
Like that was explicitly what you were told.
It was sold to people like to do this.
So it's not like, it's like he's like missed a giant billboard.
Yeah.
You know, you know.
But also he's Irish. I mean, that's the thing that gets me, where it's like, that is the most Irish thing to do. That was what, you know.
I think a huge problem, two huge problems. One is like people being so disconnected from reality, which is like a common problem in politics, obviously. But like Eamon Ryan, like the stuff he said, like he has never met a farmer.
Like Ryan should be like fed to a pig.
He's
so.
But even Joe, when they say things like, "Oh, we just need farmers to start growing willow trees," like they'll just and they don't understand the resistance from farmers because every job they've ever had is like just filling out a spreadsheet. So they're like, why does it matter if you're putting a different word in the spreadsheet? You know, who cares? But when you're a farmer and you're like, oh, this is like, I grew up with my, like, let's say you're a beef farmer or whatever, and it's like, I learned to raise like cows from my dad who learned from his dad, and like you're so attached to your actual means of production that when somebody goes, can't you just arbitrarily like do something else? But then the way they spin it is like, farmers are idiots. Which they are,
but
as well.
But it's also like, there's also like so much infrastructure. Like if you're doing beef, like you bought equipment, like you're within the system.
Oh yeah.
you can't just like you're attached to it, but you're also like financially invested in it.
Yeah. Like where they'll always say like, "Oh, farmers are very asset rich" or whatever. But it's like they might have, they might have a huge milking parlour that costs God only knows how much.
Yeah,
and they'll be paying it off for like a generation.
Yeah,
you know, like
some of the machines cost like 250,000.
Yeah.
Like, and then it just lasts forever.
Yeah.
But this is the other thing about like where you said about the Yimbys and when they like import stuff into Ireland of like a big thing. I used to know somebody in college who would always talk about like, oh, it's sick that Irish people want to own homes, like because I lived in Berlin and everyone just rents in Berlin. Like that's a big thing in Germany.
Yeah, Berlin they drink piss out of troughs.
well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be like that.
But then when you look up, it's like, oh, the reason they do it is because you just have all these rights that you don't have over here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not like they're not like for like. They're just importing these like arbitrary opinions, and then they think that that's the panacea for everything that's wrong in Ireland.
Yeah, actually, sorry, that was one of
and if you go to the Berghain, in Berlin, they drink piss out of troughs.
they love my wall.
I heard they would love your wall.
You have a piss wall.
Yeah. I heard a story. A guy I knew went to one of those clubs, and he was going to the urinal.
The urinal, yes.
And then a guy was like, "Would you just piss in my mouth instead?"
Yeah. And did he do it?
Yeah.
Fair play.
For how much?
He did it for free. He was like, "It's just piss, like, you know what I mean?"
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I'm getting rid of it anyway. Like
I suppose.
Do you know that phrase? Like
you would. That's so like uncharitable.
No, just when I was in San Francisco, there's a guy outside who's going to say that he forgot his key. Do not let him in because he just wants to hang around the showers and see if people piss on him for $350. I was like, at that time, I was like,
you were one of those cartoon dust clouds. As you ran away.
A hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Show me the money first.
Yeah. Would you charge someone? Yeah, I thought you did.
No, I wouldn't do it at all. So I mean.
Would you not piss on someone?
Worse.
What?
Even worse.
Yeah. Couldn't even piss on them. Not even if they were on fire.
Yeah.
Is that what that guy was doing in America? Is that why he set himself on fire?
Somebody please piss on me.
Do you see that picture? So the guy who set himself on fire to help Palestine.
Yeah, free Palestine.
And then there's a police officer just with a gun up.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, whoa.
he thought it was an X-Men.
Yeah.
I have some stuff about the referendum here that I know we moved away from it, but I wasn't ready to move away from it, so unusual that you would do that, but
it's not very like you, James, to be antagonistic with Gareth.
So I just love the way they told, because you were talking about, like, you mentioned, like, have you seen that James Gagan's running again? And he's running to keep his seat as a councillor. So James Gagan, if anybody remembers, was the...
But I think he's going to run for a TD.
Gar again. James is right. He is running as a TD. What the fuck? They ate shit the last time, but no, you must have James Gagan. There is no other. Vote again. Vote better.
Do you remember James Gagan?
No, who's this guy?
He ran for the Dublin by-election.
Dublin Bay South by-election.
In what,
2021.
And like, he's just Fine Gael incarnate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This isn't like, Whitewater rafting guy. No.
That is Owen Keegan.
He was head of Dublin City Council. This guy's like, have you seen, what's that film? Multiplicity. The one with the, where they clone.
Yeah, where fucking Michael Keaton is cloned.
You that?
No.
Have you seen the episode of The Simpsons where Homer?
Oh, yes. That's my level.
It's like,
have you seen
Simpsons?
I
haven't seen Multiplicity either. I was just trying to impress Gareth.
Well, you succeeded.
James Gagan is like if you got Varadkar and just cloned him.
Yeah.
Clone the clone.
And just got degraded over time in the quality.
He's gotten stupider.
Yeah.
And less cunning.
I'm gonna half remember this stuff, but like one of the things that happened was Dublin Bay South voted overwhelmingly for repeal, and then James Gagan was he started Renua before
Oh, Renua.
Yeah.
He was a founding member of Renua.
Yeah.
Wow. That was really that was like a murderer's row of just miscellaneous Irish people.
Yeah.
Wasn't
And
Eddie
Michael
Hobbs
McDowell as well.
Like, it was such a crazy, like, say what Ain to.
Yeah.
It's like that was just it's coherent. It's like a conservative wing of Sinn Féin, just split up.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Renua was just like, there was batshit crazy people in the country set up a party. Was Dennis Hobbs in it?
Eddie Hobbs, yeah, he was.
Eddie Hobbs.
I wish I could find this stuff, but like there was basically what they tried to do is they tried to pitch James Gagan as like, I'm just a humble fella, like have a house and like kind of those middle class type thing. But then every single time that they did even a slight bit of interrogation, it would just be like he's involved in every evil thing in Ireland.
Yeah,
for the
they'd
past
just be like, he's like, I'm just a humble guy. It's like, oh, where do you live? And he'd be like, I don't fuck. My dad bought me the house. It's like he just was so willing.
Yeah,
to volunteer the information.
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to get. I should have done that, but basically, he's like. What happened is they were like, they got everybody out there. Pascal Donahue was out there.
Yeah.
What's his name? The Bruton guy. That's not the one who died. Fradker was out. Coveney was out.
Yeah.
And they were all like, vote for this guy, and then he just fucking ate shit. And Ivana Bacik won. And
Ivana Bacik.
Yeah, more like Ivana Bacik.
Do you like Ivana Bacik?
The only time I've ever heard her referenced is in relation to beating this guy, I think.
Yeah. Well, she's the leader of Labour now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad.
There you go. That says it all, honestly.
Well, yeah.
But like the fact that this incredibly, poorly
with Labour so far, I would say Labour are the most divorced.
Yeah.
From their origins of any.
I know. Yeah.
Like Fine Gael, Nazis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fascists.
Yeah.
They've always been that way.
Yeah.
Fianna Fáil.
Italian fascists.
Yeah.
A bit nicer.
Fianna Fáil are just like grim, corrupt. They've always been like that. Whereas like Labour, it's like James Connolly.
Yeah.
And now like Alan AK-47, Alan Kelly.
Oh God, AK. Oh, that was good.
Like Alan Kelly's brother runs a lobbying firm.
Yeah.
And he's insane.
Yeah.
He's the real batshit.
I think it's him. Maybe this is libelous. Are we behind the paywall yet?
No.
Okay, never mind.
There was the one that kind of exemplified Labour for me was they have their housing spokesperson Rebecca Moynihan, and I think this was a few years ago now, but I don't forget. But she was saying like we need, or the big rallying cry was we need to introduce laws to allow landlords to put out unfurnished apartments so that young millennials can finally have their own furniture. I was like, are you fucking insane?
That's such an insane thing.
That is like totally well, let's see what concession can we get to. I'd like to own a chair.
Yeah.
And then in a generation's time it will be like everyone was told to buy chairs because that would be your investment fund. That would be your pension. And now these young people obsessed with owning chairs. Give up on it.
I just have this idea of this we have an exciting startup where you get to rent your furniture from us to send out here, and then it's like
every startup now is like, how can I rent an absolute necessity to live on? Renting air.
But yeah, so the fact that like they have this referendum and it's like nobody likes it, nobody knows what the fuck is going on, and then Fine Gael are like, it doesn't matter, vote for it. And then James Gagan is just in the background behind Varadkar, and it's like, this is insane. He's right there. Like the specter of like the most poorly run campaigns where nobody wants anybody to win. You know?
He's behind you.
So that was.
Can I have a look at him actually? Can you show me a picture of him?
Yeah, wait until you see.
I want to see what the look on this guy is. Oh my God. He actually looks like, when people say, this is an AI generated face? When people say that? That's very interesting. He looks like that picture was taken the first time he'd ever tried to smile.
Yeah.
What an interesting man. What age is he?
I don't know. He's 64 according to Wikipedia. No, he's not. 38.
38. Okay.
Only 4 years older than James. Amazing.
Wow. You should get him on the podcast. That would be great. Second guest, James Gagan.
But yeah, so there was that. But like, basically, the other thing, the reason I was reminded of is because like they told us it was the most important thing ever, and then, well, not really. I mean, their campaign was fucking shit. The referendum and James Gagan, but like. So Varadkar is in the counting centre after James Gagan's defeat, and he's going, well, they just ran a better campaign, and, you know, we didn't really, you know, and you just kind of were like, you told us that this, like, here's this article is, Varadkar says, Ireland will take a step backwards if it votes against constitution changes. Okay, so the Varadkar said that, okay? And the whole thing was like, this is a big deal, okay?
Yeah.
And they didn't really campaign in a very massive way, but if you ask them, it's like, this is really important, and like people are going to be watching. And then they lost, and then they're like, well, you know, you win some, you lose some. And actually, a lot of referendums fail. And actually, like, you know, we do own this, and clearly we weren't listening to the people. We didn't do enough to explain it and to the fucking racist scum who voted in favor or voted against this. And you're just like, you're not listening now. Like, you're just, but it's baffling. It's like, if you have like a 67% no vote for something that the government said, and like the long and short of it is, it's just because people hate the government and they just weren't prepared to vote for.
I did it slightly more to it than that.
I think people got confused because it was International Women's Day, and they were saying get rid of women from the Constitution. I think people got confused and they were like, I'm going to vote no.
People just don't trust the government as well. Like, if anyone is confused, they're like, they're going to use this to fuck us over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's one of those things where in referendums, it's like you can get a confluence of different opinions. Because it's just a yes/no vote. Yeah, you can actually have like a fair, disparate. Group
people doing it for different reasons.
Coming together to. I think that's kind of what happened in Brexit. Where it's like, you know, everyone in the UK just thinks like everyone who voted for Brexit's an idiot, but like, and then they're right wing or whatever. But there's loads of left wing areas that voted for it because they don't like the idea of like enshrining neoliberal opinions. But you can't say that to people because people just go, that's not true.
Exactly.
You know so I'm sure some people had like you said, they're like, okay, I really don't trust the government. I don't think the wording is great. And if any government is going to abuse this loose wording, it's going to be this government. So I'm going to vote no.
I think the way referendum should work is just 2 rounds. The first one, anyone can write down any idea.
Okay.
You know?
And then there's like a runoff.
And then the second one, you read all the ideas and you vote on which one's your favourite.
I think it would be good if they did an undecided option instead of no.
Sorry, I got my brain fell out of my head there for a second. It's been potting too hard, too long, do you know? We're really going for it there.
This is a rabble rouser of a pod. Yeah,
it's doing really well. Sorry, no, just because you said that, and I was like, well, that's like a citizens' assembly, isn't it? And then I remember like another tweet where this guy who's like a former guy for RTE, he just goes, well, that's the government defeated, and maybe now we can get rid of the ridiculous citizens' assembly. And it was just like, but they didn't ignore the citizens' assembly, you know?
But I want like everyone in the country to be able to write down ideas. So they're like, we're thinking of getting rid of women in the Constitution. And you can just write down anything. You're like,
I think they should put T-Rexes in the Constitution or something. Put MILFs in the Constitution. Change the wording to MILF.
And MILF's place is in the home. You know? Getting stuck in a washing machine. Okay.
MILFs and step MILFs. Place within the home.
We recognize the invaluable role that MILFs have in the home. Stepmothers.
And we should strive to economically.
But there's been some very funny backlashes to it as well. I'm pulling it up because where is it? Give me this fucking thing here. Sorry about this.
What?
Do you want to hear this?
What?
Just some of the reactions I got. I thought was quite funny.
Better be.
So this Martin McMahon from the Tortoise Shack podcast.
That guy's such. Is that the main guy? No, I think
No, it's a different guy.
Do you know the Tortoise Shack man?
Only through you guys.
Yeah,
It's the biggest freak show in town.
yeah. They have really become fucking. I mean, I used to really like them. I thought that they served a valuable role until like the war in Ukraine, and then they would have like Ukrainian ministers on going, yeah, no, the Russians are soulless, evil, fucking. We need to just murder them in their homes.
I think
It's like
Yeah.
that thing where he's like, he's always begging for money and like, getting really pissy with people, and then it turns out his server costs are like 10 grand.
Yeah, like he like I basically somebody was like. They were getting fed up of like how many times at the start of the podcast, like, listen, this thing is running on fumes and we just need your support. We need your money. It's like, it's the price of a cup of coffee. Just throw it in. And it's like, I know we all got to do that. But then like, they were like, what is your overhead exactly? Because the audio quality is fucking terrible. And then like,
most places host for free now.
Yeah. But he was like, no, you don't understand our server costs. And then this guy was like, you know, give me a breakdown of it. And so he like sent like, here's just a figure that I had to pay last month, and it was like multiples of thousands of euro on hosting fees.
Yeah, it was literally like God. 6 grand.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
And then it was like, because like they're very popular podcasts. Like they have a lot of podcasts, and it's like a network of podcasts basically.
They're like 10.
That's always alarm bells, I think.
Yeah,
people are.
But then people were like saying, well, maybe there's ways that you could cut down on the hosting fees, and then they're like, just coming at me. I wish I hadn't even shared this with you. You know, just getting like,
listen, if you're not going to pay me, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But like, I heard them one time talking. It's like, listen, none of us get paid on this show. I was like, none of you get paid. It all goes on hosting fees. Are you fucking joking me?
that is really funny. I think I've never listened to that podcast. But I would guess it's probably one of these ones that fits into an ilk of like somebody who listened to one episode of Pod Save America and we're instantly like, we should make an Irish version of that. Like, is it that sort of thing?
No, it's a little different because like it starts off with they were looking at podcasts. I don't know what shows they were listening to before, but like basically this is how I came across it, because I was working someplace and I needed to listen to a bunch of podcasts, and so I was like, oh, is there any Irish politics podcasts out there? And so then I came across the Tortoise Shack, and then the Tortoise Shack were like, you know, their podcast is called like Echo Chamber, okay, right. And it's Tony Groves and Martin McMahon, and they're kind of just shooting the breeze with each other, but then they were so esoteric that it put me off. I didn't know who the fuck they were talking about, what they were referring to. And then eventually I started to know more about it, and it kind of illuminated parts of the podcast. Yeah. But it didn't really, because like the way that they speak to each other is also very funny, because like they'll like Tony Groves will like literally be yelling at somebody who's saying the exact same thing that he is, you know? Yeah. So they'll be talking about like I don't know, like the care referendum or something, or housing or something like this. And then it'll be like, you know, well, the thing is, we need to invest more in social. Look at Martin, okay. But this is it. You know, we have this public land and we need to be building houses on it. We just fucking need to do that. And it's like, he just said that, you know, like they're not disagreeing with each other. And they do this all the time where they're like, you know, like confronting each other, but also getting like conveying no information. I don't know how it is, but like it seems like somebody who knows quite a lot but is unable to impart the knowledge to people. Do you know?
We were talking before the podcast about like when you do particular courses in college or whatever, that there'll be people on those that have just learned all the trivia about the topic. And they think that that's enough to be like I did a film masters, and that there are people on that who are like, you don't know who won the Oscar in 1989. Like, how do you even know film? There's a brand of political person who's like, well, I know every political Wikipedia page in Ireland, so I think I know a thing or two about politics. It's like, and all they've learned is the Trivial Pursuit stuff. Is he like one of those guys?
I don't know. It's hard to say. He's just a very.
He's more like a guy who listens to Joe Duffy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's the political Joe Duffy.
And he's like, someone needs to do a politics show about this.
Right,
you know what I mean? But it's still in the realm of like you know, kids eating too many chicken nuggets. Do you know what I mean?
It's like just totally non-issue stuff.
Well, no,
it's issues, but it's just like
it's in that tone. You know, you're right. It's
Yeah.
the Joe Duffy thing of like, you know, kind of people getting angry and annoyed and ringing in. And we're just talking it out. And like, get on the phone, grab a chair. We'll talk to you on the shack, and this is what we'll do. And then, but like everybody just talking and like nothing happening.
yeah.
But like they had on. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. He was on one of the. I forgot. Whatever. I don't know again.
Yeah, get up the tweet.
But the thing is, anyway, Martin McMahon, like his big hobby horse, which is not like the worst thing, which is he hates bogus self-employment. Okay,
Right.
which is where you're registered as self-employed so that they don't have to hire you full time or as well on a permanent contract. So then you get no benefits, you know. And then I'm like, okay, that's a worthy cause. But then he just talks about it all the fucking time, and every single thing is viewed through that prism.
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes, riddle me this: if the government thinks care is a family burden, then why do they approve massive exit payouts to civil servants who leave their jobs? Surely caring for unemployed civil servants is a family
Those
burden
two
too.
things are completely
I know.
unrelated. Like I cannot imagine two more unrelated things.
I know, yeah.
He sounds like one of the. Do you know those people who are like they're a member of Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and they believe that once we legalize weed, every problem will be
Yeah,
solved.
yeah, exactly.
He's like one of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
guys, but it's just about like bogus self-employment.
But then, do you remember that lady I mentioned who I knew who?
Like he just
yeah.
wants to do a gotcha moment.
Yeah.
And he's just like, how do I come up with that?
He
But
wants
is
to
it-
live in an Aaron Sorkin movie. He
Yeah.
wants to be like the.
But if that's all that you're thinking about all the time, it's like with the boss baby thing. Do you know, oh, this is giving me boss baby. Any sort of political, do you know, every
Yeah.
political thing is like, you know, this reminds me of bogus self-employment. And you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I bet it would. But like, but that person, remember I mentioned them that they're big into COVID. And their partner got COVID and then was staying in like a separate room and wearing a mask.
Oh yeah, they
Do
got
you
divorced
remember this?
Yeah,
It was
I
like
remember
the
this on the
goggles,
podcast.
yeah. So their take on the referendum. Well done to the Carer and PWD advocates for making their cases for a no vote. With such great support from voters, if even that percentage of society were to now don a mask in public spaces like hospitals to protect our immunocomp... I'm not going to finish it,
Yeah.
but
So
it's
funny.
like...
It's like I saw someone, they were like, that's someone I know, just someone on Twitter, and
Yeah.
they were like, Palestine is a disability,
yeah.
a disability rights thing. Wear a mask.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah.
two things can be unrelated.
Yeah.
Not everything is the same.
I know.
It's akin to going to like Croke Park or something and going, if all these people were whipped into a frenzy,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
could take down the government. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but they're here to see a match.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. If only these people would vote yes.
yeah. It's just seeing a group of people and going, if we armed this group of people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who knows what we could do?
If that ball was a ballot,
Yeah.
and the referee had a pencil.
Yeah. This person has like they have a problem where they can only see things metaphorically through one prism.
Yeah.
If my wife is bogus self-employment, and if I am, Jordan be great is if you looked into his accounts and everyone on the podcast was bogusly self-employed.
Yeah, that would be so good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We need this for the server costs.
Yeah. I mean, they technically are, because nobody's getting any benefits from
Yeah.
that. So, you know, they're not registered as self-employed, but nobody's making a mint out of it.
I know a friend
you
who went for a job like a year or two ago,
Mm.
and the recruiting agent was saying to them, "Oh, so either I can sign you up this way and you get X amount of money a year, or I can sign you this other way and you get more money." And they were like, "Whoa, why am I getting more money that other way?" He goes, "Oh, it's very simple. I just need to start a small company in your name in the Cayman Islands." He's like, "Oh, that sounds like it could be bad."
Yeah.
And they said, "No, honestly, I do this all the time."
Yeah. I
Um,
wonder what our version of that is.
what,
like
the
if-
Cayman Islands?
No, the
Ireland.
lens that we see everything through.
Is it, for Gareth, it's animation.
Is it?
Do
you think?
I don't know. I'm just guessing. But you're like,
What
this
is the way it's
This is just like.
Well, I was thinking about like basically the way that my obsession, my hobby horse, and that people go like, oh, if capitalism ended tomorrow, then everybody would be great.
Yeah.
But I was like, if Radker died tomorrow, then everything would be great.
That's
like
right.
everything links
We
back to
really do,
Radker.
yeah, that's true.
Because I'm just like, because I remember somebody saying to me in the old days of the podcast, they were like, yeah, you just like talk about Radker like all the time. And I was like, but that's because he's responsible for everything. Like,
He's an extra.
yeah.
He just embodies so much.
He's boss baby.
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah.
just
He's the boss baby.
like even with the care amendment,
Yeah.
it's like he's there saying the evil part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He just, but no, it's like when Sinn Féin are in government.
Yeah.
Fianna Fáil, we'll still be going like.
Yeah,
Like,
Radker.
Radker.
He made the landscape so fucking
Yeah.
toxic that's why Sinn Féin have to
Yeah.
vote for, I don't know, a big wall in the sea to prevent migrants
Yeah.
from getting in.
I think there
Yeah.
is something nice about living in like parliamentary systems where the leader can actually it isn't really important if the leader is popular or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where in it would drive me mad in the US that you just have to be like, well, that's my guy, I voted for that guy.
Yeah.
But the fact that like a party can just have a guy that everyone, even people who voted for the party, just hate.
yeah.
It's like quite refreshing.
Yeah,
Trump or Biden?
Who am I going to vote for, or who's going to get in?
Who do you think's gonna win?
Oh, Trump. I went to
Really?
place a bet the other day, and Trump's miles ahead.
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't even bother. Yeah, if it was
What was the odds?
I can't remember the exact ones, but I remember if I put it like a tenner down on Trump, I was only going to get like £13.
Really?
Yeah. So I put money on Biden instead. You know, better return.
Let's see. Come on.
Listen to the rest of the podcast at patreon.com/Celtic Ligers. Topics include Comedy Unleashed, Kneecap on Fallon, Irish Times cartoonist Martin Turner's recent strip on starvation in Gaza. Thanks.